Hey, welcome back. In this video, we will discuss about the self parameter and the instance method of a class in Python. So we have seen the self parameter here, okay? And when we are instantiating the class, we do not have to pass anything for the self, okay? So the self is managed by Python and the self refers to the instantiated object, okay? All right. So what exactly is the self parameter? The self parameter is a reference to the current instance of the class, okay? It is used to access properties and methods that belong to the class. Okay. So here, as you can see, we have to use the self so that we can set the name and the age for each and every object. Okay. So here, let's discuss about some of the instance method. So what exactly is an instance method? It is quite simple. So basically the instance method is a function which lives inside of the class. Okay. So we have the special init function here, but here we can create our own functions as well. So let's create a simple function. So def greet, and here as well we have to pass the self as the first parameter, self. Okay. And then if we want to take any sort of other parameters, something like thing or something like that, we can do that here. Okay. But currently right now we will not be accessing any sort of other parameters here. Okay. And here what we can do something like this. So return something like an f string, hi there, and comma, and then we can do self dot name. Okay, quite simple. So here what exactly is happening, we are accessing the instance of the class, basically the object which is being created for the class, and that particular object we are accessing the self dot name. Okay, so here if I just do something like this, so what I'll do, I will comment out these ones, and here I will print, or I will just get rid of this ones. Okay, I don't want that. Print person1 dot greet, and we have to call the function as well. Okay, it is just like when we are having this sort of a list one or something like that, and dot, we have the pop method and we have to call it here, right? We are doing exactly the same sort of a thing. Okay, so here we are doing something like this, and once again we can do the person2 dot greet as well. Okay, now if I run the program, we are getting hi there John and hi there Jane. Okay, so this is how we can use the self parameter for our instance methods as well. You have to remember the first parameter should be the self parameter for the instance method. Basically any method inside of the class, it should have the first parameter which is the self. Okay, all right. So here you should remember the self parameter must be the first parameter of any method inside of a class. Okay, all right. So now why we want to use the self? Okay, so without the self, Python would not know which object's property you want to access. Okay, so basically without this self, Python don't know if you want to access the name of the first object or the second object. Okay, so in that way the self is very useful, right? The self parameter represents the created object. Okay, all right. Now one thing I want to point out here, the self parameter does not have to be named self. Okay, I can do something like this object. Okay, as you can see, this is quite good. If I just do that and here run the program, once again our code does not break. But with that being said, this is a common practice, and if you are working with a code base, the first parameter of these methods of inside of the class is called self. So I will do self. Okay, All right. So here I have written down this one. Self does not have to be named self. Okay. It does not have to be named self. You can call it whatever you like, but it has to be the first parameter of any method in the class. Okay. While you can use a different name, it is strongly recommended to use the self, as it is the convention in Python and makes your code more readable to the others. Okay. Alright, so now let's discuss more about the instance methods. So let's add another method which takes some sort of an input as well. So def, let's do likes, and it will take self for the first one. Okay. And for the second one, it will take the thing. Okay. And here it can return the f string. So self dot name likes the thing. Okay. All right. So here what we can do something like this. So print person1 dot likes, and here we have to pass a thing. As you can see, VS Code is suggesting here as well. This is one of the other benefits of object-oriented programming, that we have a very good amount of auto-completions inside of any good code editor. Okay, so here we will pass something like ice cream. Okay, and for person2, it can be something like, let's do candy. Okay. All right. So now here it should print out the things like, hey, this first person name likes thing. Okay. So run the program. We are getting, hi there, John. Hi there, Jean. John likes ice cream. Jean likes candy. Okay. So awesome. So this is how we can create the instance method, which can take some different parameters with them. Okay. And one thing once again to point out here is that we do not put anything for the self. Okay. We are passing the thing here. Okay. This one, this parameter here, and Python internally checks, okay, we are passing something. So that should be the second one, the second parameter for this function. Okay. The first one is reserved for self. All right. So now let's see another instance method here. Okay. So def, let's do welcome, and that will take the self. Okay. And here what we want to first greet the user, and then we want to print some of the other things here. So what I can do something like this. So let's do message equals to, and then self dot greet. Okay. All right. So in that way we can access the instance method inside of another instance method. Okay. And here I can print the message, comma, and then we can do something like welcome. Okay. To our app. Okay. Something like that. So here, if I just do something like this, so print. Okay, so we do not have to print because the welcome method here has the print statement. So let's do person1 dot welcome, and let's do person2 dot welcome. Okay. All right. So now if I run the program, we are getting, hi there, John, welcome to our app. Hi there, Jane, welcome to our app. Okay. I hope that makes sense. So here in this way, we can access one instance method inside of another instance method by using the self parameter. Okay. Awesome. I hope that makes sense. And in this video, we have learned about the self parameter for instance methods in Python.